Hi everyone, I'm Jay Fadden. Thank you so much for joining us today on This is the Day in Father Reed. Today we talk about mission.
We do. Matt Calvey is joining us. He's a young adult from St. Eulalia's Parish, and he's here to talk about an upcoming parish mission at St. Eulalia's. And it's all about Catholic Heart Work Camp. It'll be very, very interesting. And we're going to Rome again too, Jay.
Going to Rome. You
Absolutely.
Always like that.
Love Rome.
Kevin, what will we hear about in the news today?
Well, Jay, in the news, we're going to go to Germany. We're going to see what the Pope has been doing on his trip there. Also, Palestine's looking for full recognition from the UN today. We get reaction from the Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem. And we remember Dolores Hope, who passed away this past week. All those stories head in the news. Jay?
All that and much more right now on This is the Day.
Here we go.
Hello, I'm Jay Fadden. Thank you so much for joining us there. This is the Day. Joined by my great friends, Kevin Elson and Father Reed. How are you doing on this fine day, Father Reed?
I'm doing well, and this is a real switcheroo today. It's the first day of autumn. Summer's over officially, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's autumn, but it's a wonderful season.
I like switcheroo.
A little switcheroo.
Switcheroo.
Mother Nature does her a switcheroo.
We have to start off with the prayer box again. You know, we have our prayer box on Friday, and we ask all of you to remember everyone in the prayer box. And if you have a prayer, please send it in. The reason I ask you to remember is, once again, I got a message. I'm getting more and more messages from people.
Was this an electronic message?
It was actually. And it was to put someone in the prayer box. A young 22-month-old child they were doing construction in the house, and there was a Brad gun. And he picked it up, and it fired and hit part of his heart. So he's in critical condition. So remember that 22-month-old child who's in the prayer box.
And we put that right in the prayer box.
That's in the prayer box.
Good.
You know, just so many people looking for prayers, and we remember you. I know that I do it every Sunday when I go to Mass and say my prayers, and I know for a fact that you do it.
I do, as a matter of fact,
So,
yeah.
well, look at you. Why do you have that?
I get the Vatican flag because right at this very moment, His Holiness Pope Benedict XVI is in Germany, and you can watch all of that right here on Catholic TV. On our network at 12 and noon today, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yes, that's always great to get that coverage. And in his home, hey, he's gone home.
He's gone home,
to
yeah,
Germany.
Once again.
Yeah, it's great that we can bring that into your house, and one of the ways we can do that, here at Catholic TV at least, and I'm sure they're doing that at some of the other stations that This is the Day airs on, is through a telethon that we have. We have a telethon a week from today.
It's coming up. It's coming up.
I know. You ready?
I'm getting ready.
You're not
and
ready
then.
then.
I think that would be the consensus all throughout this building, that we are getting ready. It's no small feat, and Kevin Nelson, when he's joining us here in the living room a little later, will fill you in a bit more because he's the producer. But it's no small feat to pull off the telethon. But it's a very important moment for us here at Catholic TV, for the whole Catholic TV family, because it's our one big fundraiser the whole year, and this is the 20th.
Oh, I know all too well.
And you know all too well because you've been at every single one.
I've been at every single one. And the thing that people really don't probably realize, and you wouldn't realize this because you're not here every single day, and we do need your help, so we hope you can make a pledge, is that we're also trying to continue to bring you these new shows. And I see Dave and Charles and Laura back there, and I know Pat's over here. We've got all these new shows that we have to continue to edit to get on the air, too. So it's hard, right? I mean, you guys is going straight out. I was here the other morning, I think about 6 in the morning, Dave was in here editing away a show that actually starts airing in October or November, Monsignor Moroni's show.
Such dedication.
So, but they're doing all of that and getting ready for a telethon.
All at the same time.
It's hard. And, you know, I know Kate has been really working hard with Kevin, making sure that we have all these pieces together. But it makes a difference because this programming is important. I know, and you with Monsignor Moroni, you know, this is a huge thing for the church, this program we're doing with Monsignor Moroni.
On the new Roman Missal, sure, yeah. So anyway, 1 week from today we begin the telethon. Friday, September 30th, Saturday, October 1st, which happens to be, by the way, the Feast of St. Therese, the patroness of Catholic TV. It all comes together. And Friday will be as usual. Saturday is a special show. We're going to be looking back at some of the great telethon moments of the past and also showcasing our new and our regular programming so that you get a real sense of the breadth of the Catholic TV network. And that's all coming up next weekend, September 30th, October 1st, the 2011 Catholic TV telethon.
You know, one of the things you mentioned too was Rome. You're a big Rome fan.
Yes, and particularly in Rome, there is, of course, that very small little country called Vatican City. And at the heart of Vatican City is the Basilica of St. Peter's, and you all know it. If you haven't been there, you recognize it immediately. And we had a chance to go there and take a walk around in the square and talk about that site, which is really at the very heart of our church, which we call Catholic. So let's take a Viaggio a Roma right now to St. Peter's Basilica. Take a look. Back to Rome. I'm Father Reed. Ciao, everybody. No doubt you recognize this magnificent piazza and the basilica behind me dedicated to the apostle whom Jesus called Rock, St. Peter, who was martyred and buried in this place, makes this basilica built on the Vatican Hill and its encircling colonnade and square one of the most sacred sites in all of Christendom. This was the site, the place, where the Circus of Nero was built. And in the first century, after the Emperor Constantine officially recognized Christianity, he started construction of a great basilica in this spot, which had previously been a cemetery for both pagans as well as Christians. Then under Pope Julius II, construction of the current basilica that we all know and recognize began and was completed in 1615 under Pope Paul V. Donato Bramante was to be the first chief architect, and many famous artists were involved, including Bernini, who designed the beautiful dome and was responsible also for the great St. Peter's Square. Speaking of the elliptical St. Peter's Square, Piazza San Pietro, there are two beautiful fountains behind me, one the left by Carlo Maderno and the other on the right by Bernini himself. In the very center, we see the 80-foot tall obelisk, which dates from the 13th century. The square is outlined by the monumental colonnade by Bernini, and its open arms symbolically welcome the world into Christ's body, the church. On top of the colonnade, there are 140 statues of saints crafted between the years 1662 and 1703. And near the stairs to the basilica, at the front of the square, are the colossal statues of Saints Peter and Paul, the patron saints of Rome. The great facade of the basilica was designed by Carlo Maderno. The central balcony is called the Loggia of the Blessings and is used for the announcement of a new pope with those famous words, Habemus Papam. We have a pope, and his Urbi et Orbi blessing given each Christmas and Easter morning from that same balcony. The relief above the balcony and under the balcony by Bonvicino represents Christ giving the keys to St. Peter, and the facade, topped by 13 statues in travertine of Christ, the Redeemer, and the 12 apostles. This is a great place. People gather here from all over the world, drawn by the grand beauty, the wealth of history, and the deep spiritual significance of this piazza and the basilica dedicated to the memory of the apostle Jesus called the Rock, upon which he would build his church. La Piazza e la Basilica di San Pietro in Vatican. For now, ciao amici. Ci vediamo presto.
I almost got myself in big trouble. Almost got myself in huge trouble today.
Here? Or at home?
Well, you're close.
Shirley?
Nope. Nope. My mother.
Oh, no.
I have a special thank you. I want to thank, and they're no longer with us, but I'm going to thank them anyways, my grandparents, Ruth and John Ruane, because if it was not for them, my mother would not have been born on September 23rd.
Oh, my gosh.
Which is today. So
You
happy
forgot?
birthday to my mother. No, I remember. I called her at 6 or about 6 this morning.
Okay.
Maybe I'm in trouble for that too. I wanted to be the first to wish her a happy birthday. But they watch everything we do. So happy birthday, Mom. And you know how fortunate I am that she was born, because that means I was born.
Yeah, and if that wasn't the case, I'd be sitting here all by myself. Well, maybe Kevin. I'd have to go over and sit with Kevin at the news desk.
See, Kevin, I could do that too. I could throw out happy birthdays. You want to say happy birthday to my mother? She'd like it. Do it in a news voice.
I can picture her, answering your phone call. So, that's nice, Jay.
Yeah, but what you have to do is say, and in the news, Karen Fadden today was born. Give her a little of that.
I'll just say happy birthday, Mrs.
Okay.
Fadden.
What's going on around the world in the Catholic faith?
All right. Thanks, Jane. Father, hello, everyone. It is time to take a look at the news. We begin with news from around the world. Pope Benedict has only been in Germany one day. He's already spoken with reporters on the reason why many Germans have left the church. He's also met with the president, spoke at the president's home of Bellevue Palace, and gave a speech at the German parliament. Catholic News Service has more on the Pope's packed trip to his native homeland.
The Pope arrived in Germany on schedule Thursday to begin his 4-day visit. On the flight, he met with reporters and said that some Germans who had formerly left the church had done so because of the sexual abuse scandals. He said that just because there may be so-called bad fish gathered in the church's net, Catholic leaders need to help people fight against scandal from the inside. Upon arriving, he was greeted by German President Christian Wolff before going to the presidential residence at Bellevue Palace, where he was formally welcomed. In his first speech, which took place at Bellevue Palace, Benedict said that a pure individualistic culture, fueled by a growing indifference to religious values, was threatening true freedom. The Pope said that part of the reason for his visit was to remind the German people of their responsibility to God and to one another. The key event of the day was the Pope's address to the German Parliament. He told the German legislature that belief in God was the foundation for Western progress in law and social justice through the centuries. The belief in a creator is what gave rise to the idea of human rights and the equality of all people before the law. This belief in one creator is also the basis for recognizing every human being's inherent dignity and the awareness that people are responsible for their actions, he said.
And after speaking at Parliament, the Pope headed over to Berlin's Olympic Stadium to celebrate Mass for about 70,000 Catholics. During his homily, the Pope appealed for a better understanding of the Church, one that goes beyond current controversies and the feelings of its members. He said that part of the problem was that people mistakenly see only the outward form of the Church and consider it merely as another organization in a democratic society. He asked for a broader understanding of the Church as a communion of life with Christ. The Pope is in Germany through Sunday. In news now from around the country, 2 executions took place yesterday in the United States, despite the appeals by many groups for a stay. Troy Davis was executed in Georgia, and Lawrence Brewer was executed in Texas. Davis, who was 42 years old, was put to death for his conviction in the 1989 murder of an off-duty Savannah, Georgia police officer, Mark McPhail. Brewer, who is 44 years old, was an admitted white supremacist. He was executed for his role in the 1998 race-fueled murder of James Byrd Jr., who was dragged for miles from the back of a pickup truck. Davis's case drew worldwide attention. The execution was delayed for 4 hours while the U.S. Supreme Court heard and ultimately rejected an emergency appeal for a stay of execution. Davis maintained his innocence throughout, including his remarks to McPhail's family moments before his execution. Archbishop Wilton Gregory of Atlanta and retired Bishop Kevin Boland of Savannah have asked the Georgia Board of Pardons and Parole September 12 to stop the clock ticking towards David's execution. The bishop said that the death penalty is irreversibly wrong when there is an execution of a person who may possibly be innocent. The conviction and death sentence of Mr. Davis was based on testimony of key witnesses and did not result from physical evidence. In other news now from around the country, today Palestine will ask the UN for full recognition, and the Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem is encouraging the move. He believes it's a step to resolution and peace for the Holy Land. Catholic News Service has more in this report.
As Mahmoud Abbas, president of the Palestinian Authority, prepares to ask on September 23rd for full membership in the UN, the Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem, Baud Twal, encouraged the effort, saying it would be a step toward eventual peace in the region.
And this question of full membership of the state of Palestine, I think, does not mean that's the end of the negotiations. On the contrary, they must follow on negotiating and speaking to find a just solution for everybody. peace for everybody and security for everybody.
The Palestinian Authority has been an observer at the UN since 1974, but that conveys no voting privileges. Full membership is considered a step towards status as a sovereign nation, though it would not by itself create a Palestinian state. The effort is opposed by the United States, which will have a vote on the question in the UN Security Council. Patriarch Twal said Palestinians have shown great patience through decades of promises that their unsettled status would be resolved. They need something to give them hope that they will have their own country and to give them a reason to trust the leaders who hold out promises.
It is quite possible to have another uprising, and it is not good for nobody. We don't want this. We want people more peaceful, more secure, more quiet, more calm, with trust and hope. Till now, there is no trust and there is no hope till now.
And finally now in the news, Dolores Hope, a lifelong Catholic, the widow of comedian Bob Hope and an entertainer in her own right, died September 19th at her home outside of Los Angeles. She was 102 years old and died of natural causes. Los Angeles Archbishop Jose Gomez said in a statement, the death of Dolores Hope leaves a huge void in Southern California. With her husband, Mrs. Hope supported numerous Catholic causes over the years and continued to do so after his death in 2003. Mr. and Mrs. Hope were the benefactors of the Chapel of Our Lady of Hope at the Basilica of the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception in Washington. Monsignor Rossi, rector of the National Shrine, said that when the chapel was under construction, Mrs. Hope supervised, and until recent years, she visited the chapel to pray and to make an on-site inspection to ensure that the chapel was kept in pristine condition. Monsignor Rossi noted a foundation established by the Hopes will make sure the chapel will always be attended to. They were longtime members of St. Charles Borromeo Parish in North Hollywood, but it wasn't until 1996 that Bob Hope officially became a member of the Catholic Church. They had been married 69 years. When he died, Dolores was credited for her husband's baptism into the church. Well, that is all the information we have for you on this Friday, September 23rd, 2011. We send it back over to Father and Jay with more of This Is the Day.
Kevin, you all right over there? I just want to make sure everything's okay.
Yeah, you can something in my throat there.
Kevin, I think you forgot something.
And
I think you forgot to wish Jay's mother happy birthday.
oh yeah, well I did at the beginning. Of the
Oh,
day.
okay, good. I didn't hear
You
it.
could do it again.
All right, this just in. Happy birthday goes to Jay Fadden's mom,
Karen,
Karen.
thanks, because that buys me a lot of real estate. To tell
Now
you the
back
truth.
to you.
Thank you. Hey, joining us now is Matt Calvey, a young adult from St. Eulalia's. I can't see. I do it worse than you.
Eulalia. It's a tough one.
Eulalia's.
Father has it.
I know he's better than me, isn't he, Matt?
Most people say ukulele, so
Okay, so
Eulalia's is a far improvement.
That parish in Winchester.
Yeah.
At Bonnie's Parish, so everyone knows Bonnie. He's here to talk about Catholic Heart Work Camps, summer service, mission trips. Matt, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me on.
You excited to be on?
I am.
Yeah, it
I am.
looks like a lot
We're
of fun.
excited
doesn't
to
it?
be here with you.
Thank you.
Well, hey, tell us about the upcoming mission, Discovering God right here, right now.
So the mission takes place at St. Eulalia's. It starts on Monday, October 3rd, and it runs through Wednesday. And I spoke with Father Jeff Rose, who is, we'll get into that, but he was a priest at Catholic Heart Work Camp with St. Eulalia's this past couple summers. And I spoke with him, and the goal of the mission is renewing our faith and renewing ourselves. So the plan, according to Father Jeff, is on Monday, the first night, we discover God in ourselves and discover God through prayer. And then as the mission progresses into Tuesday, he is looking to discover God in events and actions in the near community, and then he'll close up with discovering God in others. So it's really a plan of first renewing our faith in ourselves and in our own internal bubbles, and then as we move on through the mission, expanding the area that our faith covers. So it's a 3-day mission with Father Jeff Rose.
Right after our telethon.
Right after your telethon.
Yeah,
It's a beautiful segue.
I have to thank you for your witness, because it's great to see a young man who is actively involved in his parish, on the parish council, and also bringing this kind of an event and working to coordinate it. And you've had the chance to meet Father Rose during Catholic Heart Work Camps. Can you tell us about that experience?
Yeah. We've done St. Eulalia's, Bonnie and I were talking before the show, has done 5 work camps over 4 years. We did 2 this summer. And last summer we went to Prince Frederick in Maryland, and that was the first time we had met Father Rose. And we actually scheduled our parish's work camp around Father Rose this summer. He was great with the kids, great with the chaperones. And the chaperones, I know I call myself a young adult or a young chaperone, but we had chaperones from 22 into 60.
Oh, good.
So it's not like all of the chaperones were my age, or it was a very young group of chaperones. And Father Rose connected with all of the students, the kids from 13, 14 and older, and he connected with the chaperones that were in their 50s and 60s. So he really, there are only so many words in the Bible, or so many passages in the Gospels. You can't tell the story of Lazarus any different. You can't tell the Good Samaritan any different. But what you can do is you can break it down and explain it. And he explains it in a universal or an intergenerational way. And one of the examples that I was thinking of in preparing for this, he gives, during Catholic Art Work Camp, you have Mass every morning, so you do hear 6 Gospels, 6 readings during your time there. And he talks about the Good Samaritan, and I'm 27 years old, so I've probably heard the Good Samaritan 27,000 times in my life. And I think you always think of yourself, when you're hearing the Gospel, you think of yourself as the Samaritan. Oh, of course, that would be me. I would save the guy in the ditch. Of course, I would clean him up. And the way Father Rose put it, and he said, no, Catholics and Christians, we're not the Samaritan. We're the guy in the ditch. And that's why we need our faith. We need God to come along. We need Jesus to come along and heal us and restore us. And it's things like that he just does such a great job of taking old information or old stories and framing them in a way that can connect with a 15-year-old and a 55-year-old.
That's great.
He's an absolutely fantastic priest.
And it's not always easy to connect with, especially young people, but even older people too. What are some of the experiences you think he'll bring? Now, you just told that story, which is a great story. What are some of the experiences that he will bring that will help to connect?
Well, before I get to experiences, I think he is a member of the Orders of St. Francis de Sales, and their motto is something along the lines of seeing Jesus where you are, or bringing Jesus to where you are. And I think if you listen to his mission, if you listen to his homilies during Catholic Art Work Camp, you can see where that theology or the thinking of his order comes from. Is he frames the issues, or he frames the gospel, or he frames the readings to the audience. So getting to his experience, I know Father Jeff is very involved in the Lingap Center in the Philippines. And the Lingap Center, they have a website. You can look it up on Google. I think it's lingapcenter.com, but I'm not sure. And they take care of children that are born with cleft palates and orphans in the Philippines. And Father Jeff goes over there, and it's part of his life's work. He also teaches at a Catholic high school. He does the mission trips for Catholic Art Work Camp. So he doesn't just, at the risk of sounding pithy, he's not a parish priest that sits in a church and meets the same group of people every week. Father Jeff travels the world. He's seen these mission trips. He's met tens of thousands. He's got 4,000 Facebook friends, and I've got 200, so he's a lot more popular a guy than I am. And he goes out and he meets people, and he lives what his order says, to go out and be where the people are, to bring your faith to the people, and to reflect that faith in the people you meet and in the environment you're in.
Mm-hmm. So the mission is October 2nd?
October 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
3rd, 4th,
Monday, Tuesday,
5th.
Wednesday.
And is it just for the people of St. Eulalia's?
No, of course not. St. Eulalia's, we're hoping, the mission is St. Eulalia's Parish Mission, but the doors are always open. We're hoping that there are people that have other parishes, maybe with parishes closing. People can come to St. Eulalia's and they can make that their home. And then we're also hoping there are a lot of people that have left the church or were never home to the church, and they can find a home in St. Eulalia's and a home in our faith.
And you're going to get a great talk each night.
Absolutely.
From Father Rose.
Father Jeff, like I said, there's Mass every morning at Catholic Art Work Camp, and it's early. It's 6:45, 7 o'clock in the morning, and nobody's ready for Mass, and it's a full Mass. Not a single person was ready for Mass to end. And it is a full Mass, and Father Jeff is great. And he's great with 16-year-olds, and he's great with 60-year-olds.
Inspiring people in their faith, which is great. Well, thanks so much for being with us, Matt. I just have to tell you, during this entire interview, Bonnie is off there looking like a proud mother, because that's her parish, and she loves her parish. So it's wonderful that you could be with us.
Thank you.
And good luck.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We'll be right back with more of This Is a Day right after this. Stay with us. We got more show for you.
Hi, I'm Bishop Burns, the Bishop of Juneau, Alaska. And if you're considering priesthood, I would ask that you consider a missionary and contemplative spirit of priesthood that can be found within the state of Alaska. By all means, feel free to contact us at www.dioceseofjuneau.org.
we are back here with Kevin, who I don't know really what you're doing. You're cheering over there.
He's the king of the telethon. That's what
Well,
he's
I doing.
guess
there was a great event here in the Archdiocese last night, and apparently people were yelling and screaming because they were so enthused about what was going on. So.
Well, the priest appreciation
The
dinner.
priest appreciation
celebration
dinner, yes.
of priesthood.
And you actually were the MC, which is very good. And
It's a great time.
you know what else you have here? Talk about it. Put the coffee down, will you? We got a show to do.
Well, this is the Catholic TV Monthly, and it's a very important issue because it contains our fall schedule, which is jam-packed with all kinds of new shows, both in-house and out-of-house. And also, in this particular edition is the schedule that you can keep by your TV set, so you always know what's coming up on Catholic TV. And in addition, all the information you need to know about the 2011 telethon coming up next weekend. So there's the address. If you don't receive the magazine, we'll send it to you. Jot that address down, drop us a note, and out it will go to you each and every month.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Yeah, I know you want to ask some, but I have a question for you.
Okay.
So we have the telethon coming up next Friday, right?
That's right. By the way,
Oh, boy. Okay, go ahead.
CatholicTV.com/telethon.
Thank you.
All the
Oh.
information there.
Sean
Go
would
to
kill
it.
us.
will be very
Sean
happy
would
with
kill
that.
us if we didn't say
Say it
that.
No
again?
matter what. CatholicTV.com/telethon, I believe it.
Easy
I hope
to
I get that
remember.
right.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
So I'm watching Catholic TV as I do. I have right in my office, so I can
Okay.
watch it all the time.
Okay.
And I see, Christine and John come up with a promo for the telethon, and I see Father Dan come up with a promo for the telethon.
Good stuff, yeah, yeah.
I've yet to see any of us come up with a promo for the telethon. Are
Wait.
we even going to be at the telethon?
Well, you guys were like right in the middle of a promo just a minute ago.
Were we really?
Yeah.
Would they just show a shot of us?
No, you were just talking about it's almost like a
Oh,
promo.
you mean here?
Yeah, right here. This is the
Okay.
day.
Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm
What
going to
do
do a promo right after this program.
That'd be great.
I'm going to make sure I mention
Great.
you in the promo.
That'd
So
be-
people can watch that throughout the week, and I'm going to make sure your name is there all the time. What do you think of that?
I think that's a stunning
Do
idea.
you think that's a good idea?
Fantastic.
Well, thank you so much. So watch for that promo then. I promise you, I'm going to do one right after the show now. Thank you so much for joining us today on This Is a Day. We hope you've enjoyed the program. I'd like to thank Matt for being with us, telling us all the great things that are going on. And would especially like to thank you for your affirmation and support. And I want to thank my mom, because without her, I wouldn't be seeing you right now. And remember, everyone in the prayer box, know you're in our thoughts and in our prayers.
And we ask God's very special blessings going into this weekend, the first weekend of fall, upon all of you, upon Matt and the people of St. Eulalia's Parish, and upon all those who have their intentions in our prayer box, and of course Karen Fadden, whose birthday is today. And may Almighty God bless all of them and all of you, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Thank you so much for joining Matt and Jay and Kevin and all of us here in the Catholic TV living room. We love coming into yours. Have a great weekend, everyone. God bless.